As evident in today's video, bad actors are all around the internet, so it's good to have an extra level of security. Today's video sponsor Dashlane can provide this. Dashlane can be your one-stop shop for your digital identity, by managing all of your passwords, personal info, and financials, making your digital life safe and more secure. Dashlane works across all devices, including all Apple products, PCs, Android, Safari, and Chrome. Dashlane also has a secure autofill feature that works for personal information and credit cards, saving you time when shopping online, a VPN to prevent prying eyes from tracking and helping you access content anywhere, plus dark web monitoring to see if your information is being bought and sold illegally. If this sounds as helpful to you as it does to us, you can give it a try for free on your first device by heading to dashlane.com/action and use our promo code ACTION to get 50% off if you want to upgrade to premium.
While the highest level of esports is filled with well-paid athletes, established organizations, and ever-growing legitimacy, the lower tiers of esports competition gets a little bit shadier. From teams not being paid to owners and managers disappearing into thin air, Tier 2 and 3 esports is something like a Wild West. Recently, an incident took place that reminds everyone that it's not just your sponsors or managers you need to be wary of. Sometimes, it can be your own teammates. As the popularity of competitive Valorant continues to grow, more and more players are grinding in amateur tournaments, hoping to get noticed by big-name orgs like T1 or TSM. When an opportunity does arise, players tend to be willing to do just about anything to seize the opportunity. This was supposedly the case for players Joseph, Silent Oliver, and his teammates Vic, Lunar, A77, and Nerve, along with coach Travis T-Dog Regan. The controversy began when Silent made his teammates believe that they were going to be signed by FaZe as their new academy roster. As proof, Silent showed his teammates what they believed were legitimate DMs with Infamous, the manager of the FaZe Valorant team. The DMs show Infamous telling Silent that he would keep an eye on the team, and if the team showed good results, he would recommend them to the organization. Unfortunately, as T-Dog explained in his video, the DMs that Silent was showing to the team were all fake, made up by Silent himself. Silent's reasoning, according to T-Dog, was to keep Vic on the team, as he was a talented player who was also competing in CSGO as well as Valorant.
That roster was used to kind of like trick Vic into staying with Valorant, because Vic is currently, or he was on an MDL team, and Silent wanted him to stay playing Valorant because of how good he was, and he wanted to use Vic to lift himself up to the next level to potentially get paid.
Believing he had an opportunity to join a well-respected organization like FaZe, Vic left his CSGO team, Secret Club, to focus on what he believed to be a legitimate tryout. Since his departure, Secret Club found a replacement for Vic, so that door is now closed to him. And this experience of turning down smaller offers was one shared with the rest of the team, as T-Dog also turned down an offer from a team called Recon 5 to focus on this FaZe opportunity. Meanwhile, A77 and Nerve were also given offers for other teams, which, unsurprisingly, they turned down. As the team continued to practice, Silent remained the only player who was supposedly in contact with Infamous, creating more fake DMs to string the players along, with the entire incident going from a 2-week tryout to a process taking 5 or 6 weeks. During this time, Silent attempted to use the situation to drop a player from the team as a way to put a stop to the situation.
During the 3rd and the 4th week, there were 2 instances where Silent really tried to pull the plug on the operation. Instance 1 was he tried to cut A77 because he got mad at him in a scrim that day. He made up another message from Infamous explaining how A77 is too toxic and he thinks that he doesn't belong on the team, even though Aiden was just critiquing Silent's play since he's the weakest link on the team by a long shot. So he made up a fake DM from Infamous trying to get Aiden booted off the team, which didn't work.
Finally, in an attempt to put a stop to the lies he was spreading, Silent showed the team DMs stating that news of the tryout with FaZe Academy was leaked, so Infamous was pulling the plug on the whole thing. This caused the rest of the team to panic, as they began discussing where to go from there. In the end, T-Dog decided to personally reach out to Infamous, who had no idea that any of this was going on, and the team finally discovered that Silent was lying to them the entire time. In fact, Infamous had never interacted with Silent in his entire life. His only knowledge of him was through Fortnite, where Silent was a known account seller. and would try to get pros to sell their Discord accounts that had access to pro servers. The validity of this statement was corroborated by other members of the scene, like Creed, the manager of Ghost Gaming. While the revelation that there never was an opportunity to join FaZe was disappointing, the bigger issue at hand was that Silent, their teammate, was willing to go so far to make up this story, produce fake DMs, and manipulate those that he had been working closely with for the past couple of months.
And that's the main problem, is that this guy, Silent, would sit there day in and day out when we scrimmed. Every hour, every round, he would hear it in our voices after scrims when we talked about it, how we were so ready for this, so excited, so hopeful for the future, how this could really make us as players and coaches. We told our family members, our IRL friends that obviously wouldn't leak any information because they're not a part of the tier 3, tier 2, tier 1 Valorant scene. This is a life-changing decision that you have just completely made up, you know? God forbid one of us were to make an impulse purchase or commit to something we shouldn't have committed to because of this. You know, that person would really be in a rut right now.
Since T-Dog's video, there's been an outpouring of support from the community. Silent, on the other hand, has since deleted all his social media accounts and released a public apology via TwitLonger. In his TwitLonger, Silent addressed the situation and explained his reasoning and ended it by addressing the players he manipulated, saying, quote, "To the team, I realize there's nothing to be said to change your outlook on this at all. I deserve your hatred. I do not deserve to be forgiven. I want nothing more than you guys to stick together and find a fifth that isn't an anchor, so your last months of having to put up with me was not a complete waste of utter time." While players impersonating someone else or making a fake persona has happened before, most notably in Overwatch with the Ellie scandal, this is one of the first times it's happened and had a big name org like FaZe get involved. While FaZe hasn't released a statement on the incident, likely since they weren't actually involved in it at all, this situation sheds light on some big issues within the amateur scene in esports. With a lack of established and legitimate orgs to support players at this level, players will often jump any offer that seems good, and have no way of knowing whether the opportunity is legit or not. While this time around the players realized what was happening before it went too far, some players aren't so lucky. The lack of protection for players in tier 2 and 3 often put them in tough situations where they're willing to sacrifice everything on a gamble. Despite having undergone such an unfortunate incident, the players are still aspiring to go pro. And Vic, the one who was allegedly the primary target of exploitation, has found great success after landing a spot for himself on T1's Valorant Academy roster. As for Silent, things have gone radio silent, and after being exposed for his deception and manipulation, it's unlikely that we'll see him appear ever again in professional Valorant. Unfortunately, with the open nature of amateur competition, this is probably going to keep happening. Unless well-respected organizations are willing to support the scene at the lower levels, or until a governing body is established to protect open division players, the road to pro is going to remain a dangerous one. This video is made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. Massive thank you to everyone on this list, and shout out to Jason, B, Brendan, Foxy, Iron, Lyra, Mauve, Nate, Nathan, Sierra, Shampoo, Weeaboo, Spartacus, and Yashichi for being platinum supporters, and an extra special shout out to Steven, Noodles, Marco, and Mookie for being diamond supporters. We appreciate you all. If you also want to support our channel and unlock perks, check out the Patreon link in the description below or join our Discord server. If you want to help us out in a different way, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is also appreciated. My name is Jonah. Thanks for watching.